Hello, Marshall Reddick Real Estate members. Welcome to our presentation for our #1 online tools for real estate investors. We're excited to present all the tools and features our website provides for our investors. In addition to all services provided through the 3+ decades that we've been in business since 1979. So I know you guys are all excited to go ahead and check out what it is that we offer on our website. My name is Tanya Lorimore, and I'm a real estate advisor with this group. I've been working with them for about 3 years plus a little bit, and I have Scott Pastel with me here. He's a co-owner of the company, so we're very excited to present everything that our website has to offer. So let's get started. If you can go ahead and type in the chat box that you can hear me all right before we get started, that would be awesome, just so that I know you guys can hear me clearly in the questions area. All right, hi, thank you so much, perfect. Yep, you can hear me. All right, so we can hear, all right, wow, it's overwhelming. I'm glad that all of you guys are on today. And the people that have been on, I noticed a few names here that are my regulars, so I'm glad to see you're on here to see everything that we're offering. So here's an overview of our website. As you can see, residential real estate made simple. This is a fun video. It's a character sketch that we have done. If you guys would like to go ahead and click on that, it's about a 2-minute video. It'll go over all of what we're going to cover today, just to kind of catch up your partner, your real estate investment partner, or your spouse. Just click here and it'll load, and it'll kind of go over everything. Well, it's taken a little bit of time. All right, so there's that, and you kind of get the gist. It'll go through everything. Here you can see we have the Invest tab, and when you hover over it, you'll see that there are 2 separate categories that you can click on. Properties is one of the most visited links on our website, because that's where you get to see all the gems of the returns and cash-on-cash returns that we're going to cover in detail. We have services, realtors for buying, realtors for selling, and property management we have for in all the areas that we're in. Here is our Learn tab. Education has a lot of recorded presentations that we're going to cover with you. FAQs, frequently asked questions, things that I get asked all day as a real estate advisor, and events. You guys know this one because you went ahead and have already registered for tonight's event. Here we go. If we keep scrolling down a bit, these are our services, kind of what I showed you already. As you can see, Scott Pastel, we're using his computer today, so he's already logged in. Just like you see when you log into your account, your name should be up here to get full access to our website. As you scroll down, you can see for buying, for selling, property management, any of these that you click on will take you directly to that portion of our website. So it would take you, if you were to click on Realtors for Buying, it would be under Services, Realtors for Buying. So this is kind of like a sampler page of what we offer. Here you see the white gloves in the background. We've made it super simple for you by having all of our vendors at your fingertips. You know, we have all of our realtors and our regional reps, property managers in every location, contractors, loan originators, everything all under one roof, so that when you're working with me, you can connect directly. And if you have any questions, I know exactly who to connect you to and or follow up alongside of you. Now here are our markets. This is really fun. It's interactive. If you hover over it, you can see Indianapolis, Off to the right, it highlights Indianapolis. Here is Tennessee. You can see we're in 2 locations there. So also if you're here, it pops up on the map. Here we are. I'm in Orange County. I know a lot of you guys are in these areas as well. So let's just say you're curious in properties in, let's say, Indianapolis. I've been working with our agent there. His name's Clay. He's a great realtor, super interactive. Let's see. So here we look at properties. You can go there. You can then go back to the home page by always clicking on this Marshall Reddick. We're going to dive deep into those properties, but I'm just showing you that you can click, and it's very interactive. Anywhere you click, it's going to take you to where you want to be. So hands-on learning. Congratulations, you guys are already on this webinar, so very exciting. But this is where you can click to see all upcoming events. Again, it all corresponds to events. If you were to click here, it will take you there for all of our upcoming ones that you can register in advance. Here are some ones, if you want to come and do face-to-face and you don't always just want to be behind your computer screen, that's great too. I'd love to shake your hand at our upcoming events. You can register there. And getting started. Here is what I do. If you were to click on this, you can see we've been in business since 1979. As a real estate advisor, I go over one-on-one goals, how to achieve them. So you would just simply click on this box, and as you can see, this is Scott because he's logged in, but if you were logged in, you don't have to fill out anything. Everything you've already pre-registered with us is there. Another thing, same with events, is when you click RSVP, it'll automatically RSVP. You don't have to continuously enter your information, which is wonderful for being a member. So then here we go back. I'm going to scroll down again. Education. If you were to click on this tab, I'm not going to take us there. It's going to take you to our Learn tab under Education. All right. And then here we have our client stories. This is really fun because a lot of my clients ask me, hey, can I meet some people that have purchased properties? And the answer is always yes. You can come to our events. Mike Brown is actually one of my clients. You can click play and hear his story. He's a great entrepreneur. As you can see, there are 16 different stories that you can view. And then if you go through these, they're all about 3 to 4 minutes each. Here's another right after with Javier. He's often at our Los Angeles event. Chris Zern, he's down here in Orange County. So you guys can just tell they're just everyday clients of ours that we've worked with side by side to help build their real estate portfolios. So please feel free to check all of those out. Give me a call. I'm more than happy to let you know at certain events who will be there, and then we can go forward from there. But I know it's super important, especially for new members, to kind of learn experiences from people that have purchased before. Now here's Scott Pascal. This is Scott and this is Ross Nelson. They are the owners. They have definitely kicked up our website and launched off into the new technology era. So everything can be at your fingertips, and I thank them so much for all the opportunities that they provided for. I've helped over 250 people purchase investment properties, and it is just so wonderful to see all of our members at the event. So you can click here, see our story, and then, you know what, 1 second guys, excuse me, I think I'm hearing some feedback. Okay, sorry about that. I think that the other partner that's on here did not put it on mute. So here we go. Perfect. So now I just kind of wanted to go over a little bit more on the overview of the investments. So here you can see, as I shared earlier, all the tabs. So now I'm going to dive into my favorite part that I'm on all day long with my investors. It's under properties. So as we click on properties, it's going to take us to so many fun filters. This is how I manage. As you can see, there are so many investment properties. I had to hit clear because it was only showing 131 properties. But every time you start a new search, it's important to hit the clear function so that you can see all the properties that are available. So here are the filters. Once you connect with a real estate advisor like myself, you'll know exactly what markets you're targeting and why. So some people that are interested in appreciation, some people that are interested in cash flow. I know everyone jokes and says, I want both, Tanya. So it's usually one or the other. There are only a couple of markets where there are both at this time due to the current timing we are in the market. So you can deselect all of them if you want. Obviously, that will give you 0 properties. Select specific ones only. For this walkthrough, I'm going to have them all selected. Now, investment capital. What is investment capital? Is a common question I get from new investors. All that means is that's how much money you have in the bank dedicated to your next investment purchase. So you may have $200,000 or $80,000 in your bank account, but for your comfort zone, you are only willing to put down $55,000 towards your first investment property or next investment property. So you can go ahead and put in the filters here. And maybe you don't want to be with an investment property that's below a certain investment price point just due to the results it would give. List price. List price is the purchase price. That's what it's most commonly related to, is the purchase price. So here is the list price right here. You can see it's 102. Property type. So this is very interesting on financing. So single-family homes, that's just a single structure standing 2 to 4 units. That would include a triplex, which has 3 units. You can see that there are 241 available properties to view. Here you can see how many are available with the current filters set up. With 5+, it becomes tricky in financing, but you can easily get loans with conventional financing, 30-year fixed loans. These two, the single family and 2 to 4 units, but when you get to 5+, it becomes a commercial loan. And that's a totally different animal, usually ranging with only 5 to 10-year loan term periods. So the majority of our investors typically go for conventional. Here is the purchase method. So cash purchase, self-explanatory. You can buy it with cash. Cash is gold, right? Anything you want, you call the shots. No lenders involved, but I will definitely caution you to definitely get a home inspection and get a market analysis of the property, not just write an offer, because I want you to be protected the entire way through. Conventional financing is the one that we're used to. Private financing is a service that we offer, and we're going to get into that under our services. So that's private lending. So that means you do not have to have a specific FICO score, credit, that doesn't matter. All that matters is that you can put down 40% for the purchase. And we have 30-year loans. So that's wonderful options for people that have exceeded their 10 loan terms, 10 loans that they have. Seller financing, these are far and few in between. They were super popular back in the 80s when the seller will carry. And you'll notice there are only 8, and that's because they're not around. A lot of sellers are willing to get out, but some sellers are willing to finance. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and only select seller financing. Here are more filters. Now this is the juicy part. I have to have my clients go through and set their filters. As you can see, there are so many different sections here. We kind of already covered this, self-explanatory, right? You can see how many homes are available in Phoenix, 7. Los Angeles, we have 29. So as you can see, here are the numbers of examples. Property type, you can select, deselect. If you wanted to go ahead and just put in a zip code, you can go ahead and put in a zip code. So now we get into property class. Property class is going to be explained by, let me show you. This is amazing. If you have not read Understanding Property Classes, it's very important to do so that you understand where these returns are coming from. You can simply click this button here to download this ebook. It's a very simple read. If you have any questions on how to go about breaking it down even further, or you wanted explanation on how the numbers work even further, we can go on an example for one property that you're interested in. Taking a little bit of time here. Usually it's instantaneous. So here we go. It is 38 pages, and it's going to explain A, B, and C class properties. Here you can see the table of contents, how to identify, classify, and then apply. So here are the 5 property classes, and here you can see these are the types of tenants that would be in each. And of course it relates directly to how we would, the purchase price points, etc. So let me see how I can go back. Let's see, if I just hit this back button, it should go smoothly, hopefully not as long. Another thing is I know it can be overwhelming with over 1,000 properties on our website. I don't know why it's been so long. But it's very easy once we narrow it down. Let me see, sorry guys, I don't know why. There we go. I'll just go the old-fashioned way. Oh, unresponsive pages, wait. Okay, well, I'm just going to have to proceed with what it is that we have. So when I always start a new search, I clear it, as I showed you. The properties are all going to have a summary of what, sorry, I'm trying to multitask. So on each one, you can see the pictures on the left-hand side, and those are called thumbnails of images. You can click on them at any given time, and instead of you having to open up an entire new property profile, you can just click through really quickly to see if you like the interior and exterior pictures, which I do often because maybe you look at it on the inside and you think to yourself, well, maybe this isn't the type of property that I want. So as soon as the screen gets back up, I'll show you that. And off to the far right-hand side, you're going to see a default method for purchase on the summary. So to me, I personalize my display. Oh, good, it's back up and running. So here's the personalized display. What I find most important, which can be different to each individual, and that's why we've allowed you to customize what it is that you want. You can select and unselect, but most important, people like to see the annual return, annual cash-on-cash return, monthly cash flow. So you get to select whatever you want and then hit save. And that is going to relate exactly to what you see on this little thumbnail for this property. And here's what I was talking about to look at the pictures on the inside. You can just click here instead of having to click on it to open it entirely. So here you can see status availability. So this is important to people that want to know what's available right now. You can see status. It says it's available. here it's available, but as we scroll down a bit more, you're going to see some that are contracted. Oh, okay. Well, it looks like we are very active, so I'm going to have to scroll down quite a ways. So here you can see on this example that it's contracted, but we're always uploading new inventory. See, this is April 4th, and you can see that lots of properties have been added since then as I was scrolling like crazy down to find an example. So the personalized display is very important for you to determine what it is that you look at across the board when you're doing investment properties so that you can compare apples to apples. So like I was talking about, this Reddick book, you can click here, and this will also take you to the Reddick book and explain the classifications. So A, B, and C, of course. And we have some luxury, but very rare. We don't do D-class properties, but we have had some because clients have asked us to sell their properties through us. And also we had some nice like Airbnb type properties in Florida. So those have been very successful. So now to talk about these, people are like, what does this mean? So when you're working with a real estate agent, they'll set you up in a portal where you can see all the available inventory. So here, this favorite property, you're like, I really like this one. So you can click the star. Now I have a favorite. Now I'm going down. This is 52. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I like it. I want to learn more. So you're going. Say you find a property and you don't like it. You can say, I don't ever want to see this property again, and it disappears. Same thing here. It disappears. So it's not gone forever. I know that they're close to each other. You can go ahead and you can find them right here in your hidden properties and your favorite properties, and you can unhide them at any time that you want if it was done by accident. So now they're back on. So those are for favorites, and now we're going to dive into the specifics. So I've kind of gone over everything. One thing I didn't do was the sort, and this is really neat because you want to see the most recent ones. So you can click on most recent. You can go, which is going to be by date added. As you can see here, it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to rearrange them, and it's going to be from newest to oldest. Same thing with your cash-on-cash return. You can see it's highest to lowest. Let me click off of here so that you can see here are the annual returns and the cash-on-cash returns. So now I'm going to introduce Scott Pastel. He's been sitting here, and he's going to dive into the property analysis. So, Scott, I'm going to let you jump in here.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Great job. And just to take it away from here. So thanks for going over the summary page on our property tab here. And now I'll show you guys what happens when you actually click on a property, because there's so much more information than what you just would see here on a summary page. And Tanya shared with you guys some of the filters. So I'm going to clear the search and start over again. And what I want to look at is I want to look at a property in Fort Myers, Florida. I only want to see, let's say, an A-class property. And I want to look at a price range of up to $250,000. So I'm just going to use some of these filters here. Apologize. When we're recording a webinar, I think our internet connection slows down a little bit. Let's see. This should catch up in one sec. $250. Okay, nothing shows up. About a few zeros there. Perfect. Hit done. And I'm going to look at this property. It was added on April 4th. That was a couple days ago. It's an A-class property in Cape Coral, Florida. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to share with you some of the features that you'll find on our property page, and some of you may already be familiar with some of these, but I'm sure that there are a number of features that you may not even have known had existed before. One one of the features, when you look at it right away, you'll see is this little map image down here. So what I can do is I can toggle through the photos, and it'll show me down here that there's 18 photos available. But if I want to look at it on a map, rather than having to copy the address and paste it into Google Maps, I can just click on this little map image down here, and then it has a Google Map plugin right there on our website. I can zoom in and out right here, just like you would on Google Maps. I can drop my little guy right on the MR, that's the marker for this actual property, and boom, there we go. So I can see what the property looks like, and I can take a look at the neighborhood and just kind of move around a little bit. I can go back to the photos here, and as I go down a little bit further, now you've got some buttons down here. I'm ready to buy, I want more information, and then print to PDF. So if you've done enough analysis on our website and you decide that you're really interested in this property, you can click on either one of these two, and what happens is it already saves your information, and you can click Contact Advisor. There's my cell phone and email. I don't mind sharing it with everybody, although I forgot that was going to pop up. And then I want more information, same thing. This goes straight to your real estate advisor if you're assigned to one, and they'll follow up with you and give you a little bit more information. Of course, it's not, we're not asking anybody to put in their credit card payment information to buy this property. It's really just more of an inquiry. And I really like this feature here, print to PDF. You can decide which payment method you're interested in, and then it'll open up in a separate page. It's a nice flyer that you can print out, in a nice formatted view here. And then you can click print right here if you'd like. So when I go back to this page, what I'm seeing here are some relevant events and webinars coming up. So we have a few different events on property management, multi-units here. Some similar properties. It utilizes some of the criteria of classification. So we see other A-class properties in the same market, similar price range. So it identifies the property you're looking at, gives you the most similar properties that are currently available. You can share these properties if you'd like on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest. You can email the information if you'd like. You got your basic information right here. You've got your description like you would find on Zillow or Trulia right here. If we keep going down a little bit further, we're going to see some very relevant information on schools. It's going to give us the school rating from greatschools.org, and it starts off with elementary school, middle school, then high school. And what it does is not necessarily giving us the schools that are within the same school district of this property. It's just going to give us the closest in proximity, elementary, middle school, and high school. If I want to see a little bit more information, I can click down here and it'll expand. It'll give me all the schools. You can see that these are all within a few miles. A little bit more information on the school districts. I can jump to greatschools.org if I want to read more about the high schools. I believe that if I click on that, it's going to, so it opens up in greatschools.org. Tell me everything I need to know about the schools, so a lot of pertinent data. Our web development team is continuously building out our website to be able to have people stay on there and get all the information they need directly on our website. So we've got the school districts. We've got market history, which is just, I think, an unbelievable feature. The data comes from the National Association of Realtors. We get the data from 1989 to 2014, so we have a 25-year time span of median home price increases and decreases in this metropolitan market. So this metropolitan market here of this property is considered the Cape Coral, Fort Myers MSA in Florida. So I can see the price history over 25 years. If I want to look at and refine my, if I want to refine the years, I can change start year and just look at, what happened from 2003 to 2014. And the reason that this would be useful is I can look down here, and as I'm changing the years, it refines the appreciation trend and the median home price trend for each year. By the way, anything on our website that has is considered a tooltip. So I can hover my cursor over each one, and it'll tell me the appreciation trend over 25 years. And then since I refined my search criteria from 2013 to 2014, it's telling me the median home price is of the years that I've selected. If I click on this, it'll again share with me the the annual appreciation average, and I can change it if I want to. I can reset any changes I've made on here. I can go back up here. I can reset the years in my criteria. If we go down a little bit further, we're going to see the Reddick property rating scale. Tanya talked about this a little bit earlier. Based on this property's relation to the median home price in this metropolitan market, we're finding that the median home price in 2014 was $188,000 in this Cape Coral Lehigh Acres market. And we can get that right there. Because this property is $192,000, it tells us it's about the A-class range, a little bit above the A and B border. And more information about property classes, again, it'll take us back to the Reddick rating ebook that Tanya mentioned, which I would definitely recommend everybody on this presentation read to get a better idea for what different property classes mean, how much maintenance and vacancy that we estimate for each property class. Okay, so we're down to the financial summary. Now, I can personalize this as well, too. Now, the reason that we have a summary is because you'll notice the financial calculator is a little bit extensive. So before getting into every single item, I can just look at a summary, and I can personalize this summary and say, well, you know, I want to look at the accumulated cash flow. I want to look at the each field, whatever, you know, monthly cash flow. So I'll save it, and you'll see that it'll change the fields that show up on here. So whatever's pertinent to me that I want to see in my summary, I can change here. Now, as we go down a little bit further, really, which is the bread and butter of this entire page we're looking at on the property page, is the financial calculator. So this shows examples through conventional financing, cash, and private financing. Let's start with conventional financing. I can change my down payment if I'd like. It shows us the list price of the property. So perhaps if you feel that, you know, the property is worth a little bit less or more, you can adjust that amount, and it'll share with you what the numbers look like. Initial repair cost comes from our local realtor who's already visited the property and has determined the property might need a little bit of fix-up. Some properties on our website are turnkey. Some need fix-up. You can filter that on the property page based on what you're looking for. You see all these little function symbols. So if we click on that, it'll tell us based on the loan amount how much percentage of the loan amount we estimate for closing costs. So we can see, because the loan amount of this property, we'll find a little bit further down, is $152,000 based on 20% down. That is right here. So it accounts for 4% of the loan amount in closing costs. And that's where we get this number from. A really helpful tool right there. Let's go back to 25% down. Now, I'm able to look at all of the income expenses monthly and annually. And as I change that, it'll change the rent, the vacancy, the maintenance, the taxes. I can look at any of these numbers on a monthly or annual basis. Anything that you notice here in a box, you can adjust. Keep in mind that things like vacancy and maintenance are purely estimates based on our research and data. It's never a guarantee. But what's really cool is you can actually change the vacancy rate. It'll tell you the amount of days each year that this percentage equates to. So we know that 8%, which we've accounted for, is just about 1 month. So we're taking about 1 month out of the rent each year. Comes out to just about, as we can see, about 1 month. Very close to it. Effective gross income, we can find out how that was calculated, just rent minus vacancy. A little further down, we got the annual taxes, the annual insurance. Go back to monthly. Again, estimated based on the Reddick property rating of an A-class property. We can see that what the management fee is. So all these are adjustable fields what I want to share with you are these pie graphs right here. Very, very cool feature. Depending on what the numbers look like, you can get a pie graph for the percentage of expenses in each category. Obviously, in some cases, we're going to find that this, by the way, is for operating expenses, not debt service. You don't see mortgage down here because this is purely for operating expenses. Taxes are the lion's share. Pretty neat stuff. I don't think you'd find on any other website. Now, really, I think the most helpful part about this is you can get your long-term return on investment and cash-on-cash return on any property. You know, I picked a property that doesn't necessarily have a very high cash-on-cash return. Because of the higher appreciation in Florida, it does have a good return on investment, but you can adjust these numbers and see what the returns look like over time. We can see our accumulated cash flow over 9 years or 15 years, or the amount of time that you plan on holding it. And then what I found to be very useful is this projected profit field. So most of the time, investors are not equipped with the right tools and information to know how much projected profit that they stand to make based on a particular investment. So we can click on this, and it'll tell us exactly what goes into accounting for the projected profit. It's basically the cash flow minus plus appreciation plus principal paydown minus selling expenses. And when it comes to selling expenses, this number we're going to have here is 9% of the future value of that property. And you can see we break it down by 3% to the listing agent, 3% to the buyer's agent, and then potentially as much as 3% in closing costs. That can be miscellaneous fix-up expenses or sometimes paying for part of the buyer's closing costs. Now, if you don't know what goes into calculating cash-on-cash return and return on investment, same thing. Actually, I clicked on the pie graph. I meant to click on the function. So now we can figure out exactly how to calculate return on investment. We can figure out how to calculate cash-on-cash return. And we can, if we need to, reset everything just by clicking Reset Financials, starting from scratch again. So that's the basic gist of the property page. I hope you guys find a lot of value in using that. When you're on the Invest tab at the top here, you'll notice that there's also a section for mortgages and trust deeds. Now, you can learn more about how our mortgage and trust deed program works on this page, but essentially we are also a licensed mortgage lender, and we help investors who are looking for a completely passive investment to purchase promissory notes backed by real estate. So essentially be acting as the bank, and you're in first lien position. And based on either a short-term or long-term program, you'll find that the returns are all right here. So we also, in addition to selling real estate, we sell mortgages and trust deeds. And again, you're just the bank, you're in first lien position. We broker the whole transaction. We make 1 to 2 points up front, and the lenders make either 9 to 12% short-term or 7 to 8.5% long-term. And you can find out more information on our website there. Contact Patrick Prunty if you'd like to know more about how our mortgage and trust deed program works. And I'm going to bring it over to the Services tab, and I'll let Tanya come back in and explain that briefly.
All right, awesome. So Services tab, I kind of covered them in the beginning, but Realtors for buying. I am a licensed Realtor, and I hold my broker's license as well. Been practicing for almost 5 years now. It's been such an honor and a pleasure. It's such a huge part of an individual's life to trust you with one of the largest investments that they'll make for a primary purchase and or an investment property, right? So what I do is I work directly with my clients, and we set up the criteria and go and make it as efficient as possible. It's a lot of fun and so rewarding. Investment properties, of course, I've shared, I've helped over 250 people purchase investment properties as well. Sometimes it's not a good idea to buy investment properties in your backyard, especially here in California. It could be not so landlord friendly. All the states we're in are landlord friendly. So here we have a vacation home, which could be classified as a second home. So something in Big Bear or by the beach, or something for you elsewhere. Now on to realtors for selling. You know, we've been around since 1979, and we've helped people buy single-family homes, condos, duplexes, apartment complexes, and now maybe after 15 years, it's a good idea to sell. So if you're interested in selling your property or learning the value of your property, just go ahead and put your name, your email, your phone number, and of course, the property address. And then somebody like me will get back to you, we'll run an analysis, we'll learn the trending there, go ahead and say, you know, it's leased, it's going to expire in this time, maybe you want to sell it with a tenant in place, property type, you know, everything's very laid out and easy, kind of the trend here. And now, property management. Now this is so cool because you get to see all the markets side by side. So for tenants, these are the things that we do. For landlords, this is what the service that we provide for you. Now this is really cool because this is actual for each and every market that we're in. Say you're interested in buying something in Arizona. You click on that. Here is everything real time instead of having to read through a 10-page property management agreement. Then you want to compare it with Indianapolis because you like that market as well. And then on to Florida. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll down and they are all side by side. So here you can see in Arizona it's a $70 flat fee. Here in Indianapolis it's 8% of whatever your rent is, as you can read here, per unit per month. So imagine if that is a fourplex, right? Each unit is rented out separately at different amounts per unit. Here it's also 8%. While vacant, there is a charge, so there's a difference. You can see we've made it very clear. So basically, you can spend a lot of time going through these, and I highly, highly recommend that you either go through the property management agreement with myself, a real estate advisor, and your own lovely eyes, just to make sure you know what's going on. Now, say you want to rent out a property that you have in, let's get rid of the Indy, and put in Los Angeles, just so that you can see what it is that Marshall Reddick Real Estate does for management. Here you can see ours is 8%, 8%. When it gets larger, it's in a different scale, so it goes down, so it's more favorable for you. It's 7%. So this is our property management fee schedule. So we could dive into that more if that is appealing to you specifically at any point later. So I'm going to hand it back off to Scott now, and he's going to go over the Learn tab. This is so important. This tab I spend so much time on with my clients. A lot of resources at your fingertips. I'm
the lucky one, I feel like, to be able to show you guys this part.
Yeah.
So
we flipped the coin.
Yep, I won that one. So so let's start off by looking at the education section, and this really is a school of real estate investing online, and you can see on here that you can find resources from articles, videos, guides, and calculators, and you can see, without doing any filtering yet, we've got 131 articles, 77 videos, a lot of information on here. Let's start with doing this. I want to show you guys how the filters work. So if I only want to receive my information through video, I can click on that, filter it based on video, and I can filter it based on topic. Now, if I click more topics, you can see there's actually over 50 different topics that we have information and education on our website. So I already filtered it by video, so it's going to show a little bit of a limited amount here. But if I want to see, let's say, client stories, this would be our testimonials. I can look at that right on here. I can clear my search if I want to just go back by hitting clear. And if I don't want to filter by category, let's say I don't care, you know, if it's a guide, video, article, then I can just go to the topic and I can look at, you know, what it is I'm looking for. I can do a search up here. Let's just say insurance. If I type in insurance, it'll give me all of the assets on here, whether it's videos or articles that relate to insurance. anything on here you can find, of course, property management. You're going to find a lot on the website on here. I'll filter it based on property management. If I only want to look at videos, it's going to share with me all of the videos here, but I actually would have to go down to property management to sort what actually pertains only to property management. So let's take a look at the section up here. You can get to it here. We can look at calculators. Nothing related to calculators for property management, but I have to clear it again because it always stores our latest search filters. So we go to calculators. Two of the biggest features in here would be the financial calculator, which you can actually get a blank copy of, very similar to what we were showing you earlier. You can find your own blank calculator on here. So let's say you find your own property, you want to use the financial calculator, you can adjust all the numbers on here. One thing I didn't cover on the property page is that if you're interested in private financing, we offer 3 different programs for long-term private financing, 15-year, a 30-year with a 10-year balloon, and then a 30-year fully amortized loan, all fixed interest rates. This would be perfect for non-recourse financing through a self-directed retirement account or a solo 401k. Our guidelines are that the property has to have positive cash flow, and then there's a minimum 3-year interest guarantee. But you can look at these on, you can print your own property if you'd like. So that would be our financial calculator. If I go back, another huge resource is our market appreciation page on here, and I can look at the market appreciation for every single market we're located in. I think there's over 20 on our website here. So we look at Austin, Texas, and it'll share with us the appreciation trend on Austin, Texas right here. I can go back. I can even look at the U.S. average by clicking on this American flag marker. If I scroll down now, here I have the U.S. average. 208,000, pretty incredible. Yeah, so these are the calculators. Let me clear the search again. We have an amazing section called FAQs. You're all familiar with how that works. Well, our FAQs are a little bit different. First of all, you can jump to frequently asked questions in all these different categories over here. There's actually, I think, a little bit over 50 different questions on our website. Sometimes people have a lot of basic general questions about real estate or our company or properties on our website. As I scroll down, you'll see on the right, it actually is following me along with the topic here. So if I have, let's say, specific questions here, I can click this, expand it. So I think I'd say probably 9 out of 10 questions that we normally get from clients are usually on the FAQ section. So we put this up here, I think, about a month ago. It's relatively new, but a lot of really good content on here on the FAQ section. Let me get back to where we were earlier. Now, if you see, let's say, an article you really like, now you can bookmark it by clicking the little bookmark symbol, or I can just click on any particular, we've got latest post on here. You click on any particular article or video and bookmark it myself right here. And then if I want to go back to where I was before, I can find anything that's bookmarked just by scrolling down a little bit further. I can see I just bookmarked this article on why cash flows is as much of a guarantee as appreciation. Pretty interesting article in my opinion, not just because I wrote it, but because I also think it's interesting. Then we also have another one bookmarked here. Now if you keep going down, you've got news and market updates. So you're going to find a lot of the latest news on here. America's fastest growing cities. We've got all these different market data. Speaking of market data, I'm going to go back up and clear the search again. If you're interested in learning more about the particular markets we're in, whether it's California, Texas, Florida, Ohio, Tennessee, you can click on guides. And then I can get different guides either that are area market specific or guides on property management. We have a ton of really useful guides on property management. I want to filter it based on market data, so I'm going to click market data here. Now I can see a detailed economic packet for every single market that we're located in. It's all very, very recent, within the past year, some that are even newer. Now, another really useful section are the guides for property management. So if I click on property management here, I've already filtered it based on guides. So you can see 4 results from guides to property management. 25 big mistakes that cost landlords thousands of dollars. How to keep your property rented for longer and reduce your vacancy. Very useful tool right here, questions for interviewing property managers. Hopefully this helps you guys navigate our website a little bit more. Down here a little bit further, if you have particular authors that you'd like, you can click on the different authors on our website. And if I clear this search, go back down to the authors here. You can filter it based on different articles that our various authors have written. And there she is, Tanya. Got Tanya here, Patrick, Parker. So this, I guess, is also a good resource to view our company directory too. And that would be just by clicking on authors at the bottom of, and there's Kristen. Got some endorsed authors, Read Our Mortgage Lender, Stan Our Insurance Agent. You can click all authors down here. So I went over the education tab a little bit. I went over FAQs. Connecting with an advisor is the most valuable part of, I think, of our business, where you're able to talk to a real estate advisor through email or over the phone. I'm going to let Tanya come back to that part in a little bit. So let's continue on here with events. And as most of you or all of you have already did, you RSVP'd for this webinar. But I bet you there's some features here that you may not have been aware of. So I'll let Tanya continue with discussing this page.
All right. So it's so important to filter because, as you can see, we are all along the coast of California. So down in San Diego and all the way up to the Bay Area. We have 22 upcoming events. So you want to filter by location. So if you live in Los Angeles, you definitely don't want to go to the Bay unless you're traveling for work. So you'll select here. Of course, you guys are fans of online. And maybe you want to come to our Orange County office. It just depends on the topic. So now it's specifically filtered from 22 to 15 events what you would want. So you can also see from distance. When you are logged in, your personal information is there, so it's going to go from the address that you have on file for us to send you Christmas cards and all that fun stuff as you become our clients, and or I'm sure some of you on the phone have already received some. So here it'll show you exact distance. So what you'll want to do is you can hit the RSVP button, like here's a great one, how to buy an investment property. So here's the phone number. You put whatever you want. Let me just put in 1, 2,
Our address?
4299, 4299. There we go. Perfect. It autofills. So now it'll be more accurate. All right. Awesome. So now we'll be able to see the exact examples. So now it's processing reservation, and I'm going to show you how you can add your spouse. So you can go ahead and add a spouse. Let's say my spouse's name is
Your Humperdinkle.
Yes, John James. All right.
Easier one to spell.
Yeah, I think so. So now I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to invite my spouse, and I'm also going to invite my neighbor or my coworker, Jenny Johns. All right, so lots of J's going on here. So now I'm going to say save my guest. So now when they come to our live events, it's going to be very simple for them to just come through along with you. It's going to be very simple. So now it's that easy to register them. So another cool thing, you can go ahead and put their email. So that way they get confirmation, and then they can simply, when they get the invite, just add it to their calendar. Very, very user-friendly. So you just hit send. It's going to tell me it did not send. Oh, it did. Perfect. So I also wanted to show you guys this calendar. You can click here, showing events on or after April 6th. See it showing everything. We'll say you're out of town and you know you're not going to come back until the 13th. Here it's going to show all the events off to the left, everything after the 13th. Some of you are just going to be addicted to us, so you'll want to export the calendar, but you're only going to want to export not all events. Maybe you'll want to do filtered events. See how I've filtered only these 11. Maybe you don't want to make the commute if you live in Los Angeles, so you say, I want to export these filtered events. You just go ahead and click on it, and you would launch the application, and it would sync with your Gmail, Google Calendar, it would sync with your Outlook, whatever you want, or just events that you're attending. You can go ahead and do that. Now, we pride ourselves on having education for free for you guys as members with us, but sometimes you'll notice $59 admission. Well, this is because it's held at a college, and the college is asking for per person head count, and they're going to charge because it's in their book, and students attending their college have to pay a fee. Well, so would you as a guest. But if you're a Millionaire Club member, now what is a Millionaire Club member? A Millionaire Club member is someone that has purchased a property in the last 2 years. That guarantees you free for Millionaire Club. So here's another dotted line. You just click on that, and here is the, all right, so here we have. So it would be $59, $30 for any guest. So as you can see, as you bring people, it gets discounted. So you can do that. But if you are a Millionaire Club member and you click RSVP and you're logged in, it'll be a $0 admission, because Marshall Reddick Real Estate will cover that expense for you, as we do with so many other events that we offer, like the catered dinners in the round. Once you buy property with us, you're in the in club. So I look forward to helping you guys attain that status. So I've already gone over how to add people, but as you can see, you just go ahead and RSVP, and because Scott is already logged in, it doesn't ask him to do any additional information, and you're not bringing any guests. That's that. And if you don't want to submit the payment right now, that's okay. You can come back to doing it later. It'll remind you. So it'll say it's due. So I'm going to pass it back to Scott so that he can go over my account. So this is your account.
All right, just a couple more minutes here, and I appreciate everybody for staying on this whole time. And as we wind down, I want to share with you, you're able to manage your own account on here just by hovering your cursor under your name. And my account is, of course, going to store all your personal information. I created a new account for today. So we've got members since this one. I just created it. This account will tell you whether or not you're a Millionaire Club member. If you're not sure what that is, it'll explain exactly what a Millionaire Club member is, kind of what Tanya touched on a little bit earlier. I just created this new account, so I don't currently have an advisor. If that does show up for you, that's sad, but we can fix that, and we can help you connect with a real estate advisor. Going back to my account, again, just storing all your personal data. You can book a consultation here if you'd like. This is not a teepee. I thought originally it was, but it's actually a party hat for your birthday. You can change your password here. You can change your email if you'd like. So a lot of times we have people emailing us saying, please change my password. You can actually do that yourself, or please change your email. You can do that as well by managing your account. My properties is going to show you all of the starred properties. It's just an easy way to look at all the properties you've starred before, any properties that you've hidden before. You can jump straight to it just by clicking on here. You can remove it by clicking on remove. My events is really cool. It actually tracks all of the events that you've registered for or attended in the past. Again, this is a new profile, and these are just the examples we just went over. And very cool because, you know, if you're attending all these events and you own rental property, that's considered an expense that goes towards your rental property business. So we help you keep track of all the events, either free or paid events, so you can manage all of the time you're spending working on your rental property business.
And for some, that's super important because they're real estate professionals for tax purposes.
Especially if you're a real estate professional, you can manage all the time you're spending working on your rental property business. If you want referrals for either a tax professional, mortgage lender, a self-directed retirement account specialist, 1031 exchange accommodator, I just went to our preferred vendors page, which can also be accessed on the footer of any part of our website. So you can jump back to here, same page we're on. You can find our vendor list. You'll see mortgage lenders, private lenders, insurance, and et cetera. So again, this is our preferred vendor section, which you can get to in your account. Not your account, actually your events. And then just clicking on view our tax professionals. So as we wind down here, I think there's a lot of information that we try to cram into an hour. And I didn't get to talk about some of the social media down here, which you can find on our website. I think really the highlights are our FAQs section, social media, the financial calculator. If you have any questions while you are looking at our website, we love to talk to all of our clients. We love to talk to brand new people as well. So there's a few different ways you can do that. Going here to connecting with an advisor is probably the easiest way to do that. And you can submit an inquiry. One of our real estate advisors or assistants will follow up with you to schedule a call or a consultation with an advisor. So I'll let Tanya finish and talk for you for a minute, unless we kind of already covered it. This is what we would go over during a consultation, and you can give us a little better idea of what you're looking to do, buy, rent, sell, learn, any markets you're interested in, any comments. So I hope that was useful. We did record the presentation. We'll submit it to you folks through email. We'll put it up on our website. So hope you guys find as much value as possible from our services and education. And we really value each one of your involvement and assistance in each one of your business. And we really thank you so much for being on the call. Tanya?
Yeah, I look forward to connecting with you. In the questions box, if you want to go ahead and say a specific day of time that works well for you, that'll really help us reconnect to you and schedule a consultation. If you also just want to go to the Learn tab, as you see here, and create a consultation, that's fantastic as well. But since you're on the webinar, you get preferential treatment. Go ahead and put in a great day and time and hit enter, and we'll be sure to reach out to you shortly. Thanks again for your time. We appreciate you and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.